Hello and welcome to Media Rumble. I'm Chris and it's another week and another movie. And this week's movie is 2014's monster film Godzilla. Well, you might ask, why now for a Godzilla review? Well, last week we got a Rogue One trailer and I was so enthusiastic about that, I felt I should go back to Gareth Edwards' last film and do a wee review on it. So first off, the main character, Ford Brody. He's such a boring and forgetful man. But besides his forgetfulness, Ford Brody has a superpower that allows him to stay relevant to the plot throughout the entire movie, and no matter what kind of situation. He shows up in Japan to collect his dad after being arrested, and 3 days later he's managed to blag his way into a squad of Marines. But he was trying to get back to his family, who he is told to stay in San Francisco, and we only actually get to see about 2 minutes of footage before Ford goes away off again. And then the entire rest of the movie he's trying to get back, but there's never any sort of real emotional connection that really makes you want to, because it's quite idiotic. He tells his family to stay in San Francisco and he'll come and get him. I mean, that's very brave of him. But what he really doesn't take into account is the fact that there's monsters coming to San Francisco and it's really not safe for them there. And the only Brody I actually liked in this film was Bryan Cranston's character, Joe Brody. And Bryan Cranston actually puts in a really good performance in this film, considering the amount of screen time he has. The entire time he's in that film, you can really see the emotional drive he's got to find out what killed his wife. And you can really feel for him because you see the scene where he has to abandon his wife down there, and that emotional exchange between the two as they say their last goodbyes. And he definitely is my favourite character in the film, and he really propels the plot forward. Bryan Cranston's character really brought emotion to this film, but when he died, all of that emotion just washed away. And even the scene where he has to say goodbye to his wife has just kind of floated away because Ford isn't that much of an emotional person. So the real connection that he has to the plot and the fact that his mother and father were killed by this creature just don't become relevant. And it's very disappointing, and I thought they should have focused on that rather than him stupidly trying to get his family that he abandoned in the city. And now on to Godzilla. Godzilla really come under a lot of fire for being overweight, but in my honest opinion, I thought he looked perfect with his lava skin and his enormous size. He really put out the impression that he was a real force of nature. The Mutos were something completely different as well. They really didn't have much in common with the kaiju from Pacific Rim, yet they still looked extremely daunting. Gareth Edwards said in an interview that they really looked at a stealth bomber's angularity as an inspiration, and you can really see that in the film. And you can especially see this in the EMP abilities that the Mutos have, where they can completely take out any sort of technological advantage that the humans have. And it really sets them up as a really formidable force that only Godzilla can take down. So overall, the design of these creatures was incredible. And the sounds of these creatures are amazing too. Godzilla, his roar is iconic. So they really had a lot to live up to with the other creatures. And I think they did a good job, even if at times they did sound a bit like creaky floorboards. Say what you want about the human aspects of this film. The way that the film was shot was incredible. It was amazing to see the conflicts that Godzilla was involved in from a boots on the ground perspective. And it really helped keep the suspense when an aerial shot might have revealed too much that the characters in that scene didn't know. And it was really great to see a flashlight used as a revealing device, because you really got the feel that you were that soldier and you were walking through that cavern. It especially puts across the fact that humans are tiny in comparison to these creatures. And this is really reflected in a lot of the shots, because you get to see it from many different views, points where it would seem as if it was just a cameraman in the city just trying his best to get shots from inside skyscrapers, and as a cameraman is almost running away from the battle into the BART station. And this style really helps in my mind because you get to see it from the bystander's point of view, because not everything will be shot from an aerial view where you get to see a perfect look at the battle, but getting a real grounded POV is something special and I completely enjoyed it. I honestly feel this is where a lot of the complaints come from, because most people would want an amazing aerial shot of these two monsters slugging it out for 2.5 hours, but that's not what we got. We got a nice grounded perspective look of these monsters slugging it out from round corners and just through doorways where people would be looking, because you wouldn't get perfect aerial views of these battles, and to put people in the mix with the camera I think really helped this film. And this ground level POV really helps create some iconic moments in my mind, because you get that scene on the Golden Gate Bridge where you're focused entirely on that group of people in the bus. There's a huge battle going on outside, you've got tanks, you've got the suspension cables of the Golden Gate Bridge collapsing, and Godzilla getting bombarded with missiles, yet you're focused on this bus and how it gets through and how normal people would react within an atrocity like this. And it really helps show the scale of Godzilla and how he's towering over everything on that bridge. And when that bus finally escapes, you see Godzilla just throw his arms out in one big sweep in a fit of rage where he just takes out that entire bridge, and it really puts the size of the people in perspective. Another iconic moment is Godzilla fighting in Chinatown, where a silence comes over the place and there's only the light piano keys to build this tension before Godzilla's tail whips through the clouds and he just simply steps out and utters that iconic roar. My absolute favourite scene of the film is the Halo jump scene, where Brody and his team of Marines are jumping down to land in San Francisco. It's a very stylistic scene. You've got all the greys of the city and the reds and the oranges of the clouds, just making it seem as if there's a storm brewing. And you get to see an amazing perspective through Brody's eyes, out of his goggles, where you just see them falling. And you get Godzilla and the Mutos just meters from the characters, and it really puts in perspective that sense of panic. The finale of the movie done exceptionally well at keeping the tension high. You get to see Godzilla fighting against the Mutos and using his nuclear breath and just destroying things and swatting Mutos away and just having an all-out brawl. But you also get to see in the foreground these team of Marines dragging this nuclear bomb off to the coast so they can save the city. And it really helps to see these two simultaneously, because you get to see the scale of the conflict. You've got Godzilla just trying to right the balance of the world by destroying these two creatures, as well as this team of Marines who are just trying to save the city and get that bomb away so they can defuse it. And the ending itself it's very predictable. You get Brody on the boat with the bomb, and he's in a real predicament. He's stuck, he's been cornered by the big female Muto. And then what happens? Of course Godzilla just shows up, but he shows up with a lot of style, I have to say. Big bite on its neck, and then just to turn around, grab its throat, and then he just fires his nuclear breath right down his throat as if it was an adult bird feeding its baby. It really didn't mess about with, the Mutos are going to come back in the next film. It was just like, right, it's 100% dead, it's not got a head anymore. And after that, it was kind of strange. You got the whole, the family's back together, everything's great, and Godzilla's having a wee lie down. You think he's dead, but he's not going to be dead. It's Godzilla. He's not just going to go for a lie down and die off screen. So he gets up, the whole city is overjoyed. It's amazing. This monster is our hero. It saved the city. But do they not just think, what if he destroys us? We fired about 1 million rockets and bullets at it. What if he just turned around and has had enough? He just wipes out the rest of the city. But in the end, Godzilla, he doesn't do all that. He just goes for a wee sleep in the ocean. Just a nice casual swim away. And at the end of the day, we still don't care about Ford. Ken Watanabe is still alive and Godzilla's a badass. So everything is pretty right with the universe. So what did you think about Godzilla? I know it's a film for 2014, but I'm sure you've got opinions. You've had 2 years to watch this movie and get annoyed or get overjoyed. So leave a comment below and just tell me what you think. I'll be sure to reply and we can really start discussing what's next for the Godzilla franchise, because we have King Kong in the future and that's going to be tied together through the company Monarch. So I'm really looking forward to that and I hope you are too. So just leave a comment and we'll just talk about it. So thanks for watching my video. I really hope you liked it. And if you want to see more reviews, you can check out the description down below where I do one weekly. This week it's been Godzilla, last week it was Suicide Squad. But I don't get a chance to see a new movie every single week. So I'll just be doing random ones like this Godzilla one. So if I see something in the media that kind of prompts me to do a random review of a movie, if say even 10, 15 years ago, maybe even 20, I'll just do it. Because why not? So subscribe to the channel, where you can just come back next time for next week's review, which will be out on Friday. And you can also check out my other content where we do a show on Star Wars where I just discuss things. That's not out regularly. I just kind of do it when I have a certain opinion on something. So again, thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it and I'll see you next time.